Hola, welcome to Fan for Spanish Materials. Today's video is going to be about the imperative. Imperative is a tense that we use to give orders. That's why it's called imperative from the empire. Like, the emperor says what's to be should be done. So, imperative is not easy in Spanish because there are different possibilities. There are different personal pronouns you can give the order to. So let's start with being aware of this. So if you give an order to somebody, it could be a you or it could be a you guys. But remember that we have you informal and also the you formal, right? And also we have the vosotros, which is the you informal, and ustedes, the you formal, you guys. So we have singular here, right? Tu, usted, and we have plural here, vosotros, ustedes. Tu informal, usted formal, vosotros informal, ustedes formal. So also there is another way to give like orders is when you say let's do something, or we, let's do something, or let's not do something. So it's for we. So this is another way to give like orders. um but well, anyway, so how to condense this, like how to make it easy for you, because of course there are so many options, there are so many possibilities. Our recommendation is that you stick to one personal pronoun in singular and just use it, and that will be it. And I mean, depending on the country, you're gonna choose a personal pronoun, but the most common one is gonna be tu. Yeah, tu is the, like, the you informal, and is the most known and recognized in Spanish speaking countries. Usted is also known. This one here uh, is as known as tu, but not much. Yeah, tu is more popular. So yeah, if you want to stick to the personal pronoun usted, if your treatment to people is going to be always formal, then just go for usted. But if you just want to talk to many people in different countries, Spanish speaking countries, then the the best option will be to go for tú. So if you give an order to many people, if you're a boss of a company, or if you're a boss of a group of people, or you have a big family, you're the mother. Yeah, if you are in Spain, then you have to learn this one, yes or yes, vosotros, to tell people what to do, but like big groups. If you are in Latin America, then ustedes will be the one to go for, to give orders to groups of people, not just groups of people, just more than one, two people already, this plural. And nosotros is something that, yeah, we are gonna learn in another video, because this is the let's do, let's not do, and we use this all the time. Yeah. So that will be the initial advice. Like, you have five, right, personal pronouns to give orders. So this is really big, right? So depending on your needs, you're gonna have to choose one, but for now, I guess the one that is most used is tu. Yeah. So this is the first thing. Also, we have here our three kinds of verbs: ar, er, and ir, and we're gonna see how to conjugate the the imperatives. And yeah, we have examples here, and here we're going to explore some rules, and this is going to be really important, like to explore the rules. um, and every single imperative has a rule depending on the personal pronoun. So we're going to have a look at this. So yeah, this is going to be a long video, and something that you might have to look again and again, because it's long. So let's have a look at the rules. There is one rule, which is to drop the S. Easy. You just drop the S, right? Um, so for the second person, let's say tú, right? Tú lavas, tú pierdes, tú cubres. So if you drop the S, it will be lava, pierde, cubre. So that's how you make the imperative for you. So if I want to tell a person, wash the dishes, it will be lava los platos. Or lose the game, it will be pierde el juego. Cover me, cúbreme. So this is the first rule, just drop the S. Also is the same as using the third person conjugation. It's exactly the same thing. Yeah, it's exactly the same thing. So, yeah, yo lavo, tú lavas, él lava. So lava is the way, is the third person conjugation. This one is the one we're going to use to give orders. Yeah, lava los platos, pierde el juego, cúbreme. That will be how you give orders for second person. Now, we're talking here about orders that are affirmative, the ones that you say, do it. Yeah. There are also negative orders like don't do it, but here we are just showing the ones that is the affirmative. Do it. Yeah. So easy. You just use the third person conjugation. So I'm going to give you an example. Let's do an exercise. How do you say, um, okay, bring the menu? If you want to say bring the menu, we have the verb traer. Yeah. Um, so we're going to use the third person conjugation. Yo traigo, tú traes, él trae. So trae, that one is the one we're going to use to tell a person bring. So bring the menu will be trae el menú. Bring the menu. That's how you do it. Yeah. Um, Now let's carry on with the rules. So we have a look at the same rule at the first rule, just for two, for usted, and also for ustedes and nosotros. We have the same rule. So we're gonna have a look at this, but first let's have a look at the rule for vosotros. If you are in Spain, what we do is that we put a D instead of an R with the verb in infinitive. So let's say lavar. So it's going to be lavad. Perder, perded. Cubrir, cubrit. This is the way, with this D instead of the R, we are pretty much giving an order to a group of people in vosotros. Yeah. Yeah. Lavad, perded, cubrit, and so on. Yeah. So it's pretty easy, actually. You just put a D instead of an R with the verb in infinitive. But this is only if you're in Spain. So you are using vosotros. Um, Also, well, now let's have a look at the third rule. This one is to switch, and this rule is going to be a very important thing, extremely important thing to learn in Spanish, because we're going to use it later also. So let's learn this pretty well. So, what is to switch an A for an E? Is to switch A and E. Um, this happens often in Spanish. It's very important. And to switch A and E is pretty much when you have AR verbs, you will have an E. And when you have ER verbs and IR verbs, you're going to have an A. So you might be thinking, but what is this, right? So if I have an AR verb, I'm going to have an E. And if it's an ER or IR, I'm going to have an A. The way we obtain this is from the present tense of every single personal pronoun we have here. So if we are gonna say, if we're gonna use to, yeah, let's conjugate in present tense the verb to. Tú lavas, tú pierdes, tú cubres, right? If you drop the S, it's gonna become lava, pierde, cubre. And these are gonna be the ones we are gonna use for the commands. Lava, wash, pierde, lose, cubre, cover. Yeah. And this is the rule. For usted, again, we are parting from the present tense conjugation of this personal pronoun, usted. Yeah. So for these verbs is usted lava, usted pierde, usted cubre. But because we are switching these vowels, so usted lava, so lavar is an AR verb. Therefore, it's going to have an E. Instead of saying usted lava, it's going to be usted lave. All right. And also here, perder. So, yo pierdo, tú pierdes, usted pierde will be the present conjugation. Usted pierde. But we have ER, and because it's an ER, it's going to have an A instead. So instead of usted pierde, it's going to be usted pierda. Also here, we are going to have the same switch. So, usted cubre. Yo cubro, tú cubres, usted cubre. So parting from there, cubre, we're going to make this rule. We're going to apply this rule. Cubrir is an IR verb. So it's not going to be usted cubre. It's going to be usted cubra. Because for IR verbs, we are going to put an A as well instead. So that's how you come up with these things. Yeah. For vosotros, we said is just with the D. Easy. For ustedes, yeah, we are going to switch the A and E again. So let's get first the conjugations in present tense. Ustedes lavan, ustedes pierden, ustedes cubren. So, ustedes lavan, well, we do the switch. AR, ustedes laven. Ustedes pierden, ER, ustedes pierdan. Ustedes cubren, ER, ustedes cubran. So you see, we switch here. For AR, we put the E. For ER and IR, we put the A. And the last one, nosotros. We're going to do the same switch. Nosotros, let's first get the present tense. Nosotros lavamos, nosotros perdemos, nosotros cubrimos. So, lavamos. So, nosotros lavamos is an AR verb, then it's going to have the E. Lavemos. Nosotros perdemos. Is an ER verb, so perdamos. Nosotros cubrimos. Is an IR verb. Cubramos. Yeah, because we are doing the switch, and that's how you get these words here. And once you have these words, you know how to give commands. If you give a command to you, tú, then you're going to use these three here. If you're going to give a command to usted, you're going to use these three here. If you're going to give a command to vosotros, you're going to use these three here. If you're going to give a command to ustedes, yeah, you're going to use this here. And if you're going to give a command to nosotros, you're going to use this here. So that's how you do the imperative affirmative. Do it. Now we're going to carry on with the imperatives but negative. Don't do it. For now, remember, stick to two. Yeah, for singular, and that will be it. One thing, when you see signs on the street, like for traffic signs, like stop, like pare, or gire, or no estacione. So these are all imperatives for usted. Okay, that sometimes you might be thinking, okay, what is pare? So pare is the imperative for usted. Like parar is an AR verb. So yo paro, tú paras, él para. But because we have to do the switch, instead of para, it's going to become pare. That's why you get the pare. Okay, so let's have a look at the next ones. So now we're going to talk about the imperative, but the negative imperative. It's also similar to the one before, but it's actually easier because all the rules are going to be the same. One is going to be just the switch. So the switch for the A and E is going to be the only one rule we're going to use here. Again, to get this here, we are parting from the present tense conjugation of these verbs for every single personal pronoun. We have the personal pronouns here, yeah, and parting from that point, starting from that point, making this change, we're going to get what we have right here. So remember, if you want to make any sentence negative, you have to put the no right after the personal pronoun. Yeah. So let's have a look at how to make imperatives and negative. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is to identify the personal pronoun we want to use. So we said we have tú and usted as the personal pronouns, singular, like you. If you're going to tell a person, clean this, or if it's informal, it's going to be with tú. If it's formal, it's going to be with usted. And nosotros is going to be the ones we're going to use for the plural. Sometimes we give commands to a group of people or one more or more than one person. So vosotros we're going to use in Spain, ustedes we're going to use in Latin America. Nosotros is going to happen when we say let's do something or let's not do something. We're going to talk about this later, so this is not very important now. We're going to see this in another video. For now, let's concentrate in the singulars, yeah, which are tú and usted, and also the plurals with are vosotros and ustedes. Good. Now, how do we get this? We just have to do the switch. Let's have a look at the first personal pronoun tú. So we have the same verbs, lavar, perder, cubrir. So we're going to say don't wash the dishes, okay? So first of all, what is the present tense? Yo lavo, tú lavas. So tú lavas will be the present tense, right? Tú lavas. But because we're gonna make the switch, right? AR. So for AR verbs, we have to put an E. So tú lavas, laves. So if I want to say don't wash the dishes, it's gonna be no laves los platos. Yeah, you don't have to put the personal pronoun in the sentence. No laves los platos is good. Yeah, you can also say tú no laves los platos, but yeah, normally people don't use this. They omit the personal pronouns when they give commands. So no laves los platos, that will be it. Don't lose the game. So let's get the present tense. Yo pierdo, tú pierdes. Tú pierdes is the present tense of this verb perder for the second person. Tú, right? Tú pierdes. But it's an ER verb. And for an ER verb, we're going to use an A here. So instead of tú pierdes, it's going to be pierdas. So don't lose the game will be no pierdas el juego. Don't lose the game. Um, okay, cubrir. So cover the table. Don't cover the table. Let's say you're gonna tell a person, don't cover the table. Yeah. So cubrir. Yeah. The present tense of cubrir for second person will be yo cubro, tú cubres. So tú cubres is the present tense, is an IR verb. So therefore we're gonna put an A instead because we're doing the switching here. So instead of cubres, we're going to say cubras. So don't cover the table will be no cubras la mesa. Good. And that's what we're going to do with every single of them. So usted. So él lava. So lava is the one. So no lave will be don't wash, right? Él pierde. So pierde will be like the third person, right? So we have here, instead of no pierde, we're going to have pierda because perder is an ER verb, right? So we're going to put the A. No pierda. So no lave, no pierda. Cubrir. Yo cubro. Tú cubres, él cubre. So third person is cubre, but it's an IR verb, so we put an A. Instead of cubre, it's going to be cubra. So no cubra. Yeah. And as you can see, all of them have the same thing. Y like no, no laves, no lave, vosotros no lavéis, ustedes no laven, nosotros no lavemos. ¿Sí? No pierdas, no pierdan, no perdáis, no pierdan, and so on. So as you can see, it's the same rule for all of them, right? So for the negatives, it's actually not that difficult because you just always have to do this switch of the vowels A and E. So it's you're gonna get used to doing this, like uh, um, lavar, no laves, caminar, no camines, trabajar, no trabajes, right? And also if it's an ER verb, vivir, no vivas, comer, no comas, right? So you're making this little switch and for all of them, yeah. I was just using two, but if it's usted, it's the same thing, but it's like the same switch, but without the s because it's the third person. So, no lave, no compre, comprar, no compre, limpiar, no limpie, vivir, no viva, yeah, comer, no coma, and so on. So that's how you build these sentences. Again, this is crazy. I mean, to do so much, to learn so much, just to give the imperative is so much information. Imagine if just affirmative was difficult and negative is also difficult. It makes it a massive topic. So actually, the recommendation we give is for now, just stick to this personal pronoun too. Don't use any other. Every time you give commands, just use to for both, for negative and also for positive. So if you're going to give a command, also use to. Yeah, forget about the others for now. If you want to study these other ones, do it, but take into account that it's going to take a long time to learn them and nail them, because it's a massive topic. But if you want to do it, go for it. If you really need to give imperative orders with usted, then go for it and do it. But the recommendation is just to go for two. That's it. As well as to go for two for negative. So that will be it. Uh, Now, these imperatives, right? You don't have to use them all the time. Like locals, we use this all the time because we don't we're not very polite. We just say things like "do it," "don't do it," please. We are very bossy, so that's why we use a lot the imperative. What you can do is just to listen to people and try to identify the imperatives, like to notice, like, oh my god, that was an imperative here, yeah, or that was an imperative but negative, don't do this. So if you start, like, at least to recognize them, that will be a great effort. And then slowly you can start introducing little like commands, right? When, for example, when we go to restaurants, we sometimes, or most of the times, we actually do imperatives. We just give commands, and at the end we put the please, and that doesn't sound rude for us in our cultures. So you can say dame un tenedor por favor. It's like, give me a fork please, and this is okay. This is not rude at all because you are including the word por favor at the end, and that's fine. Yeah. So now, as I mean, imperative is, this is a tense, and every single tense has also irregulars. Remember, we talked about this. So let's have a look at the irregulars because we have some. The irregular verbs are the ones here on the left. These are the irregular verbs, and we conjugate these for both, for affirmative and for negative. So again, let's do this one by one and let's check how it works. So for two, we are going to have these uh, words. Those are the ones we're going to use, like for this verse. And so this will be put, have, be, go out, or make, or do. This is go, this is come, and this is say. So commands, right? So if you wanna do the usted, it's gonna be pretty similar, but it's gonna have an extra ending here, the ga. So instead of pon, it's gonna be ponga. Instead of ten, it's gonna be tenga. Instead of se, it's gonna be sea. So we have these little endings here, ga ga, right? Gaga, gaga. The case of ir is completely different, vaya, right? But we are using these roots, the roots that are used in the pronoun, personal pronoun too. So that's why it's highly recommended to stick to the personal pronoun "to" to learn all these imperatives, because you only have to learn the roots. That's all. If you want to do the usted, ustedes, nosotros, you already need to have, you need to have the other endings, the ga, right? For ustedes, so same thing. We're gonna use the same roots, yeah, and we are gonna use gan, and vayan, gan. It's the same thing we have here, but with an n, yeah. For nosotros, yeah, we have the same thing, but instead of or gan, is gonna be gamos, yeah, gamos, amos. Do you see the pattern? Here is just with an A. Here is with an AN. And here is with the amos. And this is what we were that's what we were using before. Yeah. So for the third person, it always ends with a vowel, right? For the like you guys, plural, third person plural is gonna end with an N. And for we, the AR verbs were also ending with amos. And we are using here like the AR rule. So ponga, tenga, sea, salga, haga, vaya, venga, diga, pongan, tengan, sean, right? So ponga, pongan, pongamos, tenga, tengan, tengamos, sea, sean, seamos, salga, salgan, salgamos. So haga, hagan, hagamos. So it's the same thing here, but we are gonna just change according to the personal pronouns here. So that's how we do it. Yeah. But the most important thing is that you know these roots. If you don't know these roots here, you're never going to be able to do this. Yeah. Now, for vosotros, yeah, like you guys, we said that we just add the D, right? Yeah. Poner, poner, tener, tened, ser, sed, salir, salid, hacer, hacer, ir, id, venir, venid, decir, decid. That's how you give commands to many people, group of people in Spain. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much how you do the irregulars, right? We have these eight irregulars here. Yeah. And again, it's very important that you learn this here, the root, because with this root you're gonna build the rest. And if you learn the root, automatically you already know how to do these commands with the person tú, yeah, like hey, pon la sal en la mesa, put the salt on the table, ten cuidado, like be careful. We say take care, like ten cuidado. Sé feliz, be happy. Sal de mi casa, get out of my house. Haz la tarea, do the homework. Ve a la tienda, go to the store. Ven a mi casa, come to my house. Di la verdad, say the truth or tell the truth. So you see this here, I mean, I'm just using these commands for two, like you, singular, yeah, informal. Good. Now we're going to have a look at the same ones, but instead of affirmative, it's going to be negative. Don't do it. Okay. Um, so, oh, look, there's, if I switch both screens, you can see that now for two, right? For this one here, for two, we are gonna use the same endings, right? Look, you see? We're using the same endings, gas, gas, as, gas, gas, right? So now you have to use these endings with the word, with the GA, yeah? So these endings are not difficult, and actually you at some point you have to learn them, because you have to use them also if you want to say usted, ustedes, nosotros. So the endings are pretty much the G. You just have to use the G and the A. Ga, right? Look, ga, right? Ga, right? Ga, 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 ga. So, and if you have a second person, then you're gonna have the S, gas. If it's the third person, it's normal. Ga, 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 ga. If it's you guys, formal, ustedes pon gan, gan. And if it's we, gamos, gamos. So you see, gas, pongas, ponga, pongan, pongamos. So it's the same ga, but according to the personal pronoun, you're gonna change if it's gas, ga, gan, or gamos. And look, for vosotros, now it becomes guys, right? No pongáis, no tengáis, no seáis, ¿ya? No, no salgáis, no hagáis. So again, we're using the eyes here, right? So uh, that's how you use the negative. Don't do it with these irregulars. So this ga is really important. You have to use this ga for the irregulars in negative. Yeah. For tú, usted, ustedes, nosotros, vosotros, for all of them, you have to use the ending ga. Yeah. Still, you have to learn the roots. These roots are yes. Yeah. It's a must. You have to learn them. But also, you have to learn this ga. Yeah. For the negatives. Remember, for the verb to be, ser, and ir, the ga doesn't work. It's just se, as, and vayas. It's just sea, vaya. They don't follow this ga ending here. But for the rest of them, it works with ga. Pongas, tengas, salgas, hagas, vengas, digas, right? So that's how you conjugate this verse for like the irregular verbs, yeah, for the negative sentences. And remember, you always have to put the no right after the personal pronouns. So if I want to say, don't put the salt on the table for like you, just singular, like you don't put the salt on the table. No pongas la sal en la mesa. Yeah. If I want to tell a person like, don't be careful or don't take care, no tengas cuidado. Don't be happy, no seas feliz. Don't get out of my room, no salgas de mi cuarto. Don't do the homework, no hagas la tarea. Don't go to the store, no vayas a la tienda. Don't come here, no vengas acá. Don't tell me lies, no me digas mentiras. Yeah? Or don't say it. No or don't say that. No digas eso. Yeah? So that's how you are giving these commands with these irregular verbs. So yeah, this is a massive video because it's the imperative. Yeah. To summarize, just to summarize. Um, so we learned that the imperatives, right, are first of all are affirmative, but they can also be negative, right? Which is the do it and the don't do it. We also said that to start, it's just better if you just stick to this personal pronoun, tú, and just give commands to one person. For now, don't give commands to groups of people for both affirmative and also for the negative. Yeah. Also, we learned that we have irregular verbs, right? And when you have irregular verbs, you want to, you want to learn these roots because with these roots, you're gonna build the all the commands for the personal pronoun you're working on, which is to. And if you're doing this, when I erase this 1 second. So if you're learning the regulars and if you learn these roots for two, then you can also learn the rest of them later, but you don't have to because you're going to stick to this personal pronoun to. Yeah. Also, we said that there are irregulars for affirmative, but also negative. So the same irregulars are going to have a little change, which is this one, the ending ga, right? And then this ga will be changing. Yeah. If it's second person, it's going to have an S. If it's a third person, it's not going to have anything. If it's a third person plural, it's going to be an N. If it's nosotros, it's going to be mos, tengamos. And if it's vosotros, it's going to be the eyes. Yeah. The same thing we were doing with the endings for the present tense and of AR verbs. And that will be it. And we said that we are going to stick to the same personal pronoun too. So the personal pronoun tu is the one that we're going to use always. Yeah. And for now, later, if you want to learn usted or ustedes or nosotros or vosotros, good, do it. But for now, just stick to this one. If you are going to become a boss, if you're going to have a group of people you have to tell what to do, and if you want to do it in imperative, then you have to see if it's in Spain, you have to study vosotros. If it's in Latin America, you have to study ustedes for the imperatives. But that's going to take you some time and effort. For now, don't do it. Just stick to tu. That will be the only one we're going to use. That will be it. And the last one, for nosotros, we're going to use always, but we're going to see it in another video. So that will be it. How to practice this crazy topic and so long. So this long, super long topic, we're going to keep it simple. First of all, just use the personal pronoun tu. Be bossy. So tell others what to do and what not to do. By doing that, you're using the affirmatives and you're using also the negatives. And you're going to use irregulars or regulars. And here as well, you're going to use irregulars and regulars. So if you tell a person what to do and what not to do with, with all of the verbs, you're going to practice pretty much everything. Yeah. At restaurants, order please in imperative with a thank you at the end. That's a great way to practice this. So instead of saying yo quiero una sopa or yo me como una sopa o me tomo una sopa, you're going to say dame una sopa o tráeme una sopa, por favor. Dame una sopa, por favor. Yeah. That way you use your imperative. Yeah. Uh, well, that will be it. This is going to take you a long time to practice and have a lot of fun, right? Maybe you're gonna get I don't know, if you're in a relationship, you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, I don't know, or anything. If you have fights, you're gonna face this a lot. You're gonna face this because the person is gonna tell you, "Hey, don't do that. Do this." So by you know hearing the telling off by you know by by fighting, by having arguments, I think you're gonna get very good at this. So well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and see you in the next one. Hasta luego. Mucha suerte. Bye bye.